Hello, my friends. Welcome in. Just some of the comments we got. I just want to kind of run through them real quick. This isn't the final episode, but I still want your thoughts. As if you didn't happen to see this in the last episode, the question was, who do you think had the highest current ability at any point in the save? And who do you think had the highest potential ability when we started? So some of the votes that we had here: Jordan with highest current ability, Jordan with highest current ability, Marcus with highest potential. I don't know, this kind of surprised me a little bit. Mike Vitek getting some votes. Highest potential. Needham for current ability. Marcus for both. Surreal Knights is Andrew C. He said it'd be funny if I had the highest PA, but I couldn't reach it because I couldn't leave Malaysia. That would be kind of sad, right? But we'll have to see at the end of the save. Let's look here. Jordan Bradford and highest overall, I think, was Jordan or Marcus. Danny Dobson in his prime getting a vote. Marcus Fromm. Bradford. Fromm with a close second as an elite striker. My original bet for highest potential was Juan, so I'm going to stick with that, and highest CA is going to be Fromm. Jonathan, they didn't need him. So that, we have a lot. Again, if you're really interested in all the comments, you can go back and look at the actual video. But lots of Jordan Bradford, some Paul Colombani getting thrown in there, some Mike Vitek, but a lot of Marcus Fromm and Jordan Bradford and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're at with that. Boop. There we go. And here's where we find ourselves, my friends. It is year 25 and 26. We do have a new patron on the channel that I want to say thanks to. It's Kyle of Michigan. Kyle of Michigan, thank you for your support. Quite the name. My friends, we are at 54 patrons. My goal for the end of April is 55. I just want to say thanks for the support. Now let's hop in and take a look. Let's look. Let's just see. Does Greg have any players? Greg is out of business. I'm assuming Greg made enough money. He's 58. He's like, you know what? I don't need to go chasing down like 16 and 18-year-old prospects to try and sign them early. So let's just shut down Baxter, Broadway, and Bros. We made our money, guys. We moved players around. We got our kickbacks, and we did all the agent things. And let's just chill. Let's just chill. So now let's go look at our dwindling list of managers to see what's happened. Okay, we still do have Jordan Bradford. He's with Arima Cronus. Yeah, and he's studying for his Continental A. He's making 1.7K until, December. Okay, where is Arima Cronus? Is that another Indonesian team? It is. Okay, let's go back and take a look at Mitra Kukar. What happened there? Okay, right. He left of his own accord 2 years and 36 days in with a 46%, you can't see that, win ratio, 35, 18, and 23. Not bad, right? You're winning or drawing a vast majority of your games. They got promoted in 2041, so 2042, they're in that battle to not get relegated back down, and this is after having been relegated, so doing a good job. And he left at the end of the year, right? So December 18th. So essentially, if I'm remembering their schedule correctly, yeah, he gave them the full year, and they finished 10th. And he was like, okay, I've done what I needed to do here, and now I'm going to go to Arima Cronus. So he took over, they got relegated, they bounced back, they finished 10th, and he's like, okay, I kind of did my job here. Let's find somebody else. And Arima Cronus FC, who have either won the league or finished no lower. Okay, they did have a fifth, but no lower aside from that than third. Okay, going back to 2023, they did have another fifth, but aside from that, they've been pretty dominant. Let's just take a look. Did they sack their manager? Yes, sack their manager. He won 62% of his games, 37-11, and they sacked him less than they gave him a year, right? The 2042 season. So Bradford's coming in, heading into the 2043 season, and he's already won 73% of his games, 17-3-3, and you're in second. That's a bit aggressive. What's the first place team done? 11-2-2? Okay, because he... Wait. 17-3-3. Is that including cup games, maybe? Because he's 9-3-3. I'm very confused all of a sudden. They're 5 points off, and they're even on points all the way down to 4. So it's quite tight at the top. One win, or if you lose and some of the other teams win, could drop you all the way to 6th. But you're in the hunt. You're in the hunt. I think you could say. I'm curious. It must be the cup schedule, right? Okay, so there has been, what is this? Asian Confederation Cup, and they qualified 6-0 in 0, my friends. 17 goals for, 2 against a Malaysian team, a Vietnamese team, and a Myanmar team. Right. Okay, so that's where you're getting some of the other wins. But still, 9-3-3 in league play is good. A little bit of a dip here, right? You don't want that to turn into a bad run of form, but you got more cups coming, you got more Confederations Cup. You'd think they'd be pretty happy. I think they'd be pretty happy, but that's just me. So we'll have to see, does Jordan get an extension? Or I'd like to see him get that Continental A, maybe stay another year in Indonesia, get that Continental Pro, and then boop, go off and, find some other job somewhere else, getting out of Indonesia. We'll have to see. Juan is still with us, and he's changed jobs again. He's now with Deportes. Is that an I? Iquique? Sorry if that's wrong. So he's with Coquimbo Unido, Coquimbo United, until the end of or somewhere in 20. Okay, let's just go take a look, I guess. I guess we didn't do this for Jordan, but we saw what happened with Jordan. He left of his own accord. Sacked. Okay, 8-2. Oh, he went a whole season without a job before they signed him. Okay, let's go. Okay, 5-14, 2041 to 8-2, 2042. Well, I guess we'll just take a look first off, managerial wise. Okay, only won 23% of your games. There it is. 10, 13, and 19. I can kind of see why they would say no thanks. Right. So it happened here, probably, or one of those two games. I think it was right about here. So they probably lost that game. Not a lot of wins. Now they did get a new manager bounce, right? They get some draws, a couple, 2, 3, 4 wins, 5 draws, 4, 5, and 3 to wrap up the season under caretaker manager / new manager. That's kind of fair. They finished 6th, which isn't terrible. They're currently 6th. They finished 10th. It's very confusing. But yeah, new manager has gone 11, 8, and 10. I mean, that's better, right? But it's not outstanding, but it's better than winning 23% of your games. I still think, though, right? He drew a bunch of. If you knocked down a couple of the losses and turned them into draws, I think he was doing okay. But now he's been picked up on May 5th of the current year. So he hasn't had that long to be in charge, and he's lost 4 games. He's 0, 0, and 4. Previous manager in less than a year won 30% of the games. Previous manager to that won 30% of games. Previous manager to that won 36% of games. Previous manager to that, 32%. Previous manager to that, 33%. We've not had a manager break 40% with this club. So is it Juan's fault, or is it just his fault that he picked a club you shouldn't? I mean, they did finish 8th last season. They're currently 13th, which is not great. To be fair, 4, 3, and 8, which I guess means they were 4, 3, and 4 when they picked up Juan. Okay, maybe. Okay. They played Colo Colo. Okay, so he's only lost 2 league games. That puts a slightly different spin on it for me, potentially. I mean, they're in 6th. These are his former clubs. That's hilarious. They know how he's going to be set up. That's what it is. So they played 6th and 5th and lost those games by a resounding 1-7 aggregate scoreline. Then they get beat in the face by Colo Colo. Now they've got a long break. They got a month, but that's a month for him to settle in, get his system in place, kind of steady the ship. But how long is his contract for? Let's just click on one. They give you a contract through the end of the year. It's like, hey, we're gonna sign you for like 7 months, see how you do. If we don't get relegated, is that the thing? Or like I'm curious what their expectations were. We'll have to see how I mean, it looks like, again, he's an all right manager. I'd like to see him start getting that Continental Pro, but I think he's got a challenge. Hard to tell though after 2 league games, right? Throughout the Copa Chile. I don't think that's fair. So ignore that. Can he survive? Grant Corrigan is still with Hearts. He's making 17.75K a week. He's got a contract for another 2 years, and he's studying for his Continental Pro. Oh, is Grant going to be the one that goes the distance? Is he going to go the distance, my friends? Look at this. Oldham, Norwich, Forest Green, kind of shaky in there, right? In essentially 2 seasons, you had 3 clubs. Dundee United, not even making it a whole year. And then Hearts has gone well. Doesn't much care for working with the under whatever 21s, under 19s, under 18s, whatever it is. But he looks a good manager, man management. He really connects with his players. He's motivating. He's a decent judge of player ability, potential. Not very tactical, but again, we talked about that, right? Like you signed some good tacticians on your squad. Let's just look at his actually, let's go to Hearts. Let's just see his win ratio, because obviously it must be good enough to, and I know we just saw that, right? 51% of games, and they just won a month ago the Scottish Cup. 37, 16, and 19. Surely, and maybe that's why they're like, oh, you won the Scottish Cup. We're good. We're going to extend you, Grant. I guess I'm just assuming that, so let's take a look at his contract. Boom! 5-4. Okay, so, okay, they hadn't won it yet, but they showed, that they believed in him. So he's got our first cup win. I think that's the first one of the save of our managers to get a trophy, to get some silverware. So that's exciting. Last season they finished second, so a bit of a dip, right? So he comes in, what was it, towards the end of the 2041 season? I can't keep all this straight. Yeah, January window. Comes in the January window. They do finish second. Then a huge drop where I was like, okay, this looks very bad. And then they finish 7th. But then they bounce right back to finish second. So kind of an amazing run. And someone did point out in the comments, maybe you saw that at the beginning part of the episode, about, me ignoring the fact that Celtic was in the relegation, or the bottom half of the playoff thing at one point. And I did miss that. But they're back. And they almost won the league. 68 points to 67. That seems like a low point total, doesn't it? 78, 74, 81. Okay. So yeah, this is a very tight year. Interesting, I think. But I think Grant's doing all right. His reputation is almost a whole 3 stars. He's good for another, 2 years. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? Let's take a look at their schedule from last season. Just the Scottish Cup. Do they not qualify for... Oh, last year they wouldn't have had Continental. Okay, the previous year. Okay, we already looked at that. So it will at some point, right? Because they finished second. At some point in here. Okay, there it is. I can see. I can read eventually. They play NK Osijek in the Champions League best place qualifying second round as 2 leg 1. Is that what that means? A Croatian team. So can they get past them to make it into the next round of the Champions League, generate some of that cash money for the club? They are currently secure finances. All right. Let's move on. Asil Hetland has stuck with the club. He's got another year on his contract. He's studying for a Continental Pro. He's 20 motivating. My goodness, given those team talks. 12-6, pretty good looking manager. Again, tactical knowledge, you probably need to have a good coaching staff on the tactical side. He must be doing something right, so let's go take a look here. Okay, they got relegated, but they kept him. Okay, is that what it's been a minute since I recorded, so is that what we were expecting? And then they are currently 10th. Wait a minute. Okay, he's won 40. There you go. 49% of the games. 27, 14, and 14. Not great, not bad. Hasn't won anything. let's go take a look here because it's the start. Okay, so that's why it says 10th, because it's the start of the next season. I know I could go back and look at the actual club. They did not get promoted. It looks like they made the playoffs, finished 3rd, but probably lost out here. Is that probably like these two teams played each other and then there's something like that? So they didn't go up despite the fact that they finished on 77 points. That's probably a little disappointing, but they've not sacked him because of that. So that's positive. Yeah. Right? Finished the season quite strong. Start of the season, okay. It was the middle part. October did not go so well. Then you had some cup games and you kind of, steadied the ship, got some wins and some draws in the league play. Really solid season. The end of the season, not so great, but like there's a lot of green dots there. So I could see why they would go, hey, let's keep him. We get, insecure finances. That's interesting. So, that's gutting to go all the way on 77 points where you almost just get straight promoted and then you don't go up through the playoffs. Let's see, what was this? Is it going to show us? That's what it was. So Kane played, my guess is, the 4th place team and beat them. Yes. Is that what Paris FC was? And then they... Okay, so this is kind of like this, if I remember correctly, the Scottish League where like 4th and 5th play each other. The winner of that plays 3rd. The winner of that plays the team getting relegated from the league above on a 2. Like you got to win a bunch of games in order to get promoted, unless you're doing straight promotion. So maybe that's why the board wasn't as upset with Hetland. So we'll have to see what happens next season, because now they're insecure. Are they gonna have problems, or are they gonna be able to finally push through? Marcus Fromm is still with the Young Lions. I mean, I don't really know how much we need to really look. We will. Continental A is not challenging himself to go get a Continental Pro. Come on, Marcus. Dominating the league, doing their thing. Let's just look at his ridiculous win ratio. 65% won. I think I said, okay, to be fair, I'm sure you've already left comments on this. I think I said that that was the Scottish Cup for Grant was the first like major trophy in Europe. Maybe is what I should have said, because obviously, yeah, he's won the league 4 times, the cup 5 times. But I mean, you're kind of with the dominant team. 98, 37, and 14. He's almost won 100 games last season. Won the cup, won the league, and won the Star Hub League Cup as well, whatever that is. Did it the year before. The treble, my friends. They didn't win the cup, I guess, in 2039. So they've 2 years running, they've won the treble, and then the double the year before that. Yeah, I mean, great, Marcus. Could you go get another job? Just saying. Just checking here. He's not the net. I mean, let's just look at the... Oh, this guy's terrible. Why won't Marcus go take over the job? There's nothing really else to look at. Like, they're dominating. Great. And last but not least, we do have Paul Colombani. He is still with Hold, whatever that team is, until the end of the year. So part of that's good. The fact that this hasn't... I mean, he's not fantastic, but he's okay. Let's go take a look. We're just going to go the win ratio first. That's what we've been doing. 48% won, 29 and 12. He's been there a little bit more than a year. Okay. So let's look at where they finished last. Oh, they finished 3rd. Oh, so close. And they're currently 8th. Ooh, that's not the best. I mean, it's middle of the season, right? But you're 8. I mean, 8 points off top is a lot, but it's not unachievable. Maybe 5, 3, and 4. You just gotta get rid of some of those losses and get some points elsewhere. You're not. I mean, you're 7 point. You're like dead middle, right? 7 points off 12th in the relegation spots, and 7 points off promotion through a playoff spot. So that's okay. Not great, but it's okay. Especially considering where they finished last season, finishing 3rd. So maybe that's why they haven't extended his contract. They're like, Paul, we got to get back up in the top part of the table before we'll talk about extending you. Not a great start. settled in. And since it's aside, when you lose 3 games in a row, that's not great, but you kind of settled in, and you've definitely got more wins than you do draws, and more draws than you have losses. So if you keep that up, you'll be thinking all right. Egersons, they are second, so that's a big game. And then third, it's like, ooh, they got third and second coming up, and first. Quite the run. The next 3 games could be season-defining moments, as it says in the press conferences. We'll have to keep a tab on this. Take a look next. Well, let's go ahead and hop forward a year. All right, it's year 26. We're hopping right in. Let's do this. Uh-oh. Jordan Bradford did not get a contract extension. Or did he get sacked? I can't remember. Oh, he got the sack, lads. He got the sack. 8/22 and 2043. That was not long after we recorded that. Oh, they finished 7th. Oh, no. Oh, the sackage. So much sacking. He won 62% of his games. 22-8-5. Next guy wins 48% of his games. And the next one has only played 2 games. I know you... Okay, hold on. Okay. August 22nd, 2043. How are we looking up to August 2nd? How on earth? Let's just look at... this is going to take a second. Let's look at the league. Okay. August 2nd. So, he had a bad run in league play. Now, that's intermixed with all the cups that they play. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go 6 games without a win. But you got 4 draws. And prior to that, you'd only lost... What? I counted that. So, you'd only lost 2 games. And then after that, you lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's a mistake by the board outright. I'm just saying. Not to mention the fact that they were making a run in the cups. Okay, wait, what? Yeah. Oh, look at all the cup games, and he's winning those and rotating his team. I'm sure they are still in the mix for a bunch of cup competitions, and then you sack him, and you may have gone on and made a run in whatever cups these are. I don't know how difficult the competition is, but you end up losing more games than you did under Jordan, and you didn't win as many either, based off the stats, and then you sack the next guy. That's so harsh. I can't believe that. They deserve to finish 7th. Let's look at the table. What? They're in 10th right now. Serves you right. Serves you right, my friends. 55 points. Okay, not the best finish. 9 losses. Some of those were his, okay, but probably only half of them, like 4 or 5 of them. I think if he stays, they probably... I don't know if they finish top 3. I think they do better than that. I think that is a harsh result for Jordan Bradford. Now the question is, no one wants him right now, but it's the middle of the season. So if the season starts to wind down, will somebody come in? I really wish he'd gotten a Continental Pro. And I wish these attributes were a little bit better. But we'll have to see. That is a surprise twist for me, my friends. Let's go check on everybody else. Juan has kept a job. He's kept a job. He's got an extension until the end of the year, my friends. That's exciting. Now let's go see what his it looks like. Okay, they finished 13th. But again, we talked about that, right? Sign him in May. He's won 36% of his games, which when you look at the prior, right? Like, that's better than the previous 2. And is equal to the 3rd one. And better than the 4th one. So, like, Juan is like a legend right now at the club. But May 5th. So, okay. We saw this. We saw these 4 games. And then look at the run they go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games unbeaten. Then they drop a game. 8, 9. So 9 games, you lose 1. I think the board would be happy with that, right? That makes complete sense that they'd be happy with that. And then he drops some more towards the end of the season. Fair enough. You can't be perfect forever. But with that run, I would imagine that helps stabilize them, because I think they were still 13th at the time when May 5th-ish. This rings a bell, maybe. I think they were close to down there, but that run keeps them safe. It doesn't look as good when you look at it this way. It's like, but to be fair, right? Like if you what is that, like 14 games or like 2 or 3 losses, something like that, and you still finish in what, 4th from bottom, and you're 8 points off of the playoffs to get relegated, that is tough sledding for sure. And then currently they're in 2nd. That's what I'm talking about. 2nd place, essentially halfway through the season, 27 points. Last season, they had 34. So in half of a season, he's almost got them as many points as they had the entire last season. I think that's a good sign. That's just me. I could be wrong. Maybe they sack him if they don't go automatically up. I think that would be harsh, since you're 9 points off that. But you are 16 points clear, and you're 11 points clear of where you finished last season. So I think Juan is doing a fantastic job, to be honest with you. I mean, look at this. A little rough to start the season. I'm sure he was sweating. I'm sure he was sweating in here. But then look at the run that they've made, including some cup wins, but still going on quite the run. They've got this, this break again where they're off for a month. But that's all right. Can he finish the season strong? Can they finish, where they're at right now, or top 3 or 4? I think that'd be good. Grant Corrigan is still with Hearts, and he's wanted. His contract is good through the end of next year. Marseille. Well, interesting, considering his only time in France was at the very end of his career. That's a bit strange. But he's got his Continental Pro. He's got his solid 3-star, full 3 stars this time, reputation. Let's go see. Ooh, they finished 3rd. I mean, I think they would take 3rd, but that's just me. And he's at 51%. They won the Scottish Cup again. 2nd cup win in Scotland for him. 68, 31, 33, if you could see that. Right. Let's take a look to see how close the 3rd place finish was. Oh, just goal differential. Oh, that is kind of gutting. Could have made the Champions League, but you didn't because of goal differential. So back to kind of regular, I guess, right? Like Celtic and Rangers top, kind of what you'd expect. But Motherwell had been up there. They were in 3rd place last season, as well as Hamilton, and they've dropped down into the bottom half here. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll have to see, can he make another good push this season? Or does he leave for Marseille? Do they come in and, offer him the cash money? Because he looks a good manager, right? Like, that is pretty solid all across the board. What do you think is going to happen with Grant? Hetland got a contract extension, apparently. Yes. Oh, it just happened. 2 more years studying for that Continental Pro. Clutch. Okay, let's go. Oh, I keep going to milestones. I mean to go to the club. Go to the club. Oh, they didn't get... Oh, 3rd place again. Oh, it's like the bogey part of the table for him. I don't know. 54, 23, 27, 51% won. Oh, what happened? Okay, so they played whoever 4th or 5th. It took them penalties to do it. And then they played SC Bastia, the team coming down. That's what I'm talking about. It's so hard to get promoted if you have to play so many games. And they're not, 3 days apart, and then, 5 days apart? So you get the 1-1 draw, and then you lose 2-0 away from home. And you go again. Let's take a look at the stages. How close was it? Oh! 1 point. Well, at 1 point and some goal differential. Oh, so close. And nobody else from the playoffs obviously went up because they were the only option, because these 2 teams played and then they played the winner. Okay, so only 2 teams go up. Can he go again? Can they finally get that last, get 2 points so that they can actually go straight up? We will have to see, my friends. But they must like him because they've extended his contract. So that's a good sign. And able to get a Continental Pro out of it. So that's a good sign for the length of his potential career. So we'll have to keep tabs on it. Marcus Rahm is with Young Lions. He just signed a new deal until the end of next season. He's not getting a Continental Pro. Ooh, second place. Intrigue. Okay. They won the Cup and the Star Hub League Cup, but they didn't win the league. 124, 44, and 15, though. I think, I'd imagine you would take that. Let's look at the stages, though. Okay, currently, they are on top by 10 points, so it's revitalized the team. They've come out kicking mad. 4 points. Kind of close, but kind of not, when you've been so dominant. Previous seasons, they won the league by 10 points, 12 points, 9 points. Okay, there's a 4 points. 13 points, but you've been the dominant team, and to lose the title by 4 points seems like it wasn't like... Let's take a look at the end of the season. No, that's interesting. Huh. And they beat him at the end of the season. They went on a run. Goodness, the margins are thin. They lost 2 games. 2 games. And you don't win the league? Two draws. Different. Like, two less wins, 2 more draws is the only difference. Goodness gracious. Exact same goal differential. Margins are tight. Margins are tight. Just checking. No. Come on, mate. Like, expand your horizons. That's all I want to say. Paul Colombani still has a job through the end of the season. What happened? Last season they finished 8th after finishing 3rd. That is harsh. And they're currently 8th right now. That's not the best. 15 points. Yeah, so he just doesn't seem to be able to, push through that. You know what I'm saying? I guess odds can't get promoted because they're the second team of a team in the division above. You're losing to somebody's second team, by 9 points. Not ideal. Do you think that Paul is going to get another year? He's already had what's going to amount to 3 seasons. He's won 41% of his games, 28, 17, and 23. Let's just take a look. Previous manager, 39%, 27%, 43%, 44%, 21%. So he's kind of right there with those other two. Okay, but not fantastic. And when you look at the results, to be fair, they haven't been up since 2022 would have been the last time they won promotion. So it's been quite the time, and they did get actually relegated to the division below and come back up. So they've kind of been a middling team, but that's not really good for your managerial career. So I'll have to keep tabs on that. All right, my friends, that's where we are going to wrap it up today. Do you think Jordan Bradford gets another shot? Does Grant leave Hearts to go to Marseille? Will Paul have a job at the beginning of next episode? Lots of things to think about. I do want to ask you, should we start doing 3 years at a time? Or is the 2 years a good length of episode? It could kind of depend if we start, with 6 players, I kind of feel like 2 years is okay in terms of episode length. But if we start dropping players, obviously we'll start doing multiple years at a time. But I'd like your thoughts on that. So if you wouldn't mind to leave a comment on that. Otherwise, hit that like button and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.